If you're from the South, or if you've ever visited the South in the summer, then you know that without a doubt our favorite garden vegetable is crookneck squash. And the best way to eat it is when you cut it right off the vine and you cook it outside on a beautiful summer evening. So I'm gonna get my kid out of our mimosa tree here. He loves to sit in our beautiful mimosa tree, one of many we have. And but I'm going to take him to the garden and have him cut some squash. We're going to cook it outside up at our favorite spot on our homestead, and we're going to show you how we cook our squash in the summer outdoors so you can do the same thing at your house. All right, so we got to get some squash. Can you get that one?
Yep.
There's one. Okay, let's see if we can find 3. Over here's one. See this one, buddy?
You cut it.
You want me to cut it? Okay, you hold that.
And I cut the last.
And you cut the last? Okay, there's one under here.
Okay.
Careful, buddy, hold on. These things are coming up like, we'll take 3 or 4 a day, and then the next day there's 3 or 4 more ready. Okay, you got to get over there. You want help? Yeah. Can you do it? Oh, like a big split, huh? Okay, look right here. Here's one. Oops, is that one big enough? Yeah, is that big enough? I think so. Yeah, go ahead and cut that one off, huh? Good job. Look at that little baby squash. You see the baby one?
Oh, yeah.
That'll be ready in a few days. See that? My son, on the way out of the garden here, wanted to point out how our corn is now taller than him, because just a few days ago, he was taller than the corn. And we'll also point out that the corn is still taller than the cat. Hello, kitty.
That's easy to know.
Yeah, there she is. Yep, but buddy, the corn's taller than you now, huh? How long do you think it'll be before we're down here picking corn out of our garden to eat?
A month or 2.
A month or 2? I'm thinking maybe 2 or 3 weeks, but we'll see. Let's go cook our squash. Okay, we're going to be cooking our squash in a frying pan over an open fire outside. And I want to point something out about our fire. Honey, can you give them a good view? We don't use charcoal, we use wood. And this is something we did in the Philippines. My wife cooked outside like this her whole life. She's from there, and I lived there for 6 years. We cooked outside on wood every day, 3 meals a day for the most part for several years, simply because that's how it's done there. And so when we came back to the US, I cannot bring myself to spend good hard-earned money on charcoal to dump into a grill, light on fire, and watch my hard-earned money go up in flames. So we use wood. We've been doing it for the couple of years that I've been back and my family's been here for the first time. You can save a lot of money with your outdoor grilling by using wood too. Okay, so we've got our squash. We rinsed it off really well. The 4th one my little boy got wasn't quite ready, but at the same time it was never going to be because it was starting to spoil. So we're going to let this dry out and use the seeds in it for next year's squash. Now, while I'm cutting squash, he's going to mix up our breading that we're going to use, and this is a very common southern style breading. So buddy, as I hand you stuff, just pour it in this bowl.
Okay.
We use a cup of flour, just all-purpose flour. And then you can use cornmeal. I got it, buddy. A lot of people like to use cornmeal like you make cornbread with, but we like this sweet Jiffy corn muffin mix. You can use this too. And this stuff is really cheap. I think you get like 3 boxes for $1. I can't remember, but I know it's cheap. So
I think 1 box is $1.
1 box is $1. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, you're probably right. Dump that in there.
Yeah, that actually
Does it
smells
smell good? Okay.
Yeah.
Dump it all in there. Good job, buddy. And then here's, oh, there's some more. Okay. There's a tablespoon of salt. Dump that in there. There you go. Oh, get it all, silly.
Oh.
Get it all. Okay, and then pepper is optional. Some people like it, some people don't. Cleopatra, our cat, likes to make sure she takes part in all of our family activities. So wait, Cleopatra, we'll give you squash. So this might make you sneeze, buddy, so I'm going to put some in there just a little bit. Okay, so you mix that with a fork. Where's our fork? You got the fork? You mix that with a fork. Hinai. That's Visayas for slow and easy. Okay, and so while he's doing that, I'm going to cut the squash. Now, guys, this is kind of a personal preference thing. You always want to cut the nose off, of course. And you don't want to waste anything. I mean, that goes into the compost pile. That's fertilizer, so many different things. And you could even eat it if you want. Now, some people cut their squash a little thick because they like it crunchy. I like mine thin. I cut it super thin because that way it fries up even crispier. And that one's a little thicker than I like, but that's okay because I like that too. But gosh, this is delicious. And when we're eating this here in just a few minutes, it's going to be so awesome knowing that only minutes ago this thing was alive on the vine. And then it's going to be in my belly, and in my son's belly, and in my beautiful bride's belly, who's recording this video. And guys, here's something very cool about this video and about this squash we're getting ready to eat. My wife and son has eaten all kinds of squash in the Philippines and several different types of squash here in the US, but they've never eaten crooked-neck squash yet. My son just pointed that out to me. So the first time, now of course I grew up on this stuff and ate it for many years, but I'm just now kind of getting back into a lot of the American cuisine, and part of our homesteading activities here and having our gardens and growing and raising our own food is a big part of that. Getting back to, you know, what I grew up on, growing and raising our own food. So it's a red letter day. We've got something to celebrate. My wife and son are going to be eating crooked-neck squash for the very first time ever, and they planted it, we harvested it, and as you can see, we're now cooking it. Okay, my son did a great job mixing our breading, and now we're going to crack 2 eggs and scramble them up because we're going to use that egg bath for the squash before putting it in the breading. So go ahead, buddy. Come on, use your big boy muscles. Well, there you go, that'll work. Here, we'll trade. You take, well here, no, wait, yeah, you wanna do this one? Need 2, huh? Well, there you go, that works, huh? Okay, here. There, mix it up real good, buddy. And remember, your eggshells, as well as your leftover squash, can go in the compost also. Mix it up real good, buddy. Bust that yolk up. You can fry your squash in oil, as you know. I like to use butter. I don't use butter for a lot of things because heart disease runs in my family, and even though I work out all the time and eat relatively healthy, except for maybe right here, don't drink, smoke, use drugs, chew tobacco, none of that stuff. I just try to limit how much pure butter I eat. But when it comes to southern fried squash in the summer outside of my grill, I don't hold anything back. So we've got our, remember we had a wood fire, it's burned down the coals, putting off a lot of heat. The pan is nice and hot, so I get a whole, maybe I'm using this about 1/4 of a stick of butter, and I'll save some more for the next batch. And so, come a little closer, honey. I'm just gonna, you know what, to make this easy, I'm just gonna throw a bunch of squash here in the egg bath like this, because I only have 2 hands. I can't really go over there and then I'm gonna throw them in here, and I guess I'm supposed to do that so it doesn't get clumpy, but I don't mind the clumps. Put it in here. Get it nice and soaked up in the egg wash. I'm gonna move back to my fire with this stuff as I bury it. It's nice and hot in there now, and so time to fry it up. All right, we added a little more wood to our fire, made it hotter, and it's frying up really good. So we're gonna flip it. As you can see on that side, it's nice and golden brown. That's how we want it. We don't want to do it too much. We don't want it blackened because that means burned. Just want a nice golden brown. All right, you're looking at the second batch now. 3 squash is going to turn into about 3 batches. But my beautiful bride and my darling son cannot wait to try their very first crooked-neck squash here in the southern U.S. So let me get a close-up of this. This is how it turned out. Nice and golden brown on both sides.
A little bit hot.
It's a little bit hot. Yeah. Neither of them have ever eaten this. This is their first time.
Yep, first time.
So let's see what they think.
Oh, it's good. It's very tasteful.
Very tasteful, huh?
You like it? It's delicious.
It's delicious?
Yeah. But hot.
But hot? Still a bit hot?
The breading is good, and the squash is kind of sweet a little bit.
Yep.
Oh my
I
gosh.
like your brain better.
Yeah, the thing is, this squash is kind of naturally sweet, and that's why I like to use the Jiffy muffin mix, because that's kind of sweet, and that's why I like to use butter down there instead of oil, because the butter's kind of sweet. So you put them all together, it's like you get sweetness overload in your mouth. So you guys think you're going to be eating this on a regular basis in the summer?
Yep.
Yeah?
Hopefully.
All right. Well, folks, I'm going to get back to finish frying up the squash we cut up so I can eat some too. If you enjoyed this video, and if you learned a new cool way to cook summer squash, please subscribe to our channel, Homesteading Off the Grid. And my beautiful bride, my darling son, and myself will see you next time.